Peace and Black Power families, brother IJ Taimba from Harlem Liberation School, where we proudly teach Black people to wake up, clean up, and stand up, in the words of brother Malcolm X, who, by the way, will be celebrating his 100th birthday next month, May 19th. 100th birthday for brother Malcolm, who has inspired us. He's inspired us so much that his face is embedded in our logo. We take a lot of our political and socio-political cues from brother Malcolm, so we owe him a lot, and his wife, sister Dr. Betty Shabazz. Our family, we are continuing a very important series at Harlem Liberation School. That is our community empowerment series. We do not agree with this very horrific narrative that Black women are to blame for all of our social ills, for all the vices in our community. Because if we're honest, we will all have to submit to the fact that when the brothers were not there, philandering, doing whatever they were doing, the sisters, some Black woman in your life was holding it down. We need to admit that. We know even today, Black women make up the majority of our rank and file members of our organizations, our places of worship. So we have to bear witness to the truth. What we hope to demonstrate is that Black women, just like Black men, are the bomb diggity, that they are, that we love them, that we value them. We see them even when we disagree and we fall out, we see them and we recognize you. And we also want to say that every Black woman on this earth don't have to be Harriet Tubman family. Assata Shakur, we come in all different political stripes. As long as people aren't being traitors to the race, as long as they're helping the people, pouring love and service into our community, that's what we're looking for. We believe in unity without uniformity, that we can organize around a specific set of ideals without everyone doing it the same way, right? And being carbon copies. So with that said, I want to bring a sister on, Sister Phaedra Stewart, who I believe comes out of Baltimore. And we were former Syracuse University classmates. She is doing phenomenal work. She's, she's doing philanthropy. She's giving back to her undergraduate college, Syracuse University, in helping some of the Black students there, I think, to have a nice living and learning experience. She certainly was part of the Student African American Society. She was at some of them protests when we was challenging the university, so she knows firsthand what it was like to be a student and the challenges that come with it. And she's also got into real estate, her and her husband doing phenomenal things. And I think she even has a whole new position. The sister done retired, and she's doing so good. People want to bring her back into the working world. So you know she's doing something right. Family, without further ado, I want to bring our good sister on. I'm going to ask her to unmute her mic. Sister Phaedra, how are you?
I am great. How are you?
Excellent. It is so good to catch up with you and to know that yet another former classmate is not only doing well themselves, but doing well in a verb sense, doing well in terms of spreading some joy and some beauty and some love to our community, because those are three things that we desperately need. So hats off to you for that. I want to put a few things up so people know what we are talking about and who we have here. And hold on 1 second. Okay. And I want to kind of jump right in.
Okay.
And I want to try to get to all the questions, Sister Phaedra, but we try to keep this to about an hour because we know that our guests are busy. We don't want to, fatigue you, and we don't want people tuning out. So if we don't get to all of them, we might have to have you back on.
Not a problem. No problem.
All right. Excellent. So I guess one of the first things people hear about college in our community, and a lot of people divide it. Oh, that college degree don't mean nothing. You think you all that. You ain't all that. We just as good as you. We better than you. And that could be true. Right? Then you got the people that, you got to go. If you don't go to college, you're nothing. You're going to hell. You don't go we have these very odd extremes. And sometimes people think it's all about the classroom activity. That college is about going to class. And a lot of the growth and the fun and the lessons come outside the class.
Absolutely.
So we were classmates at Syracuse. Not going to say how many years ago. I want y'all to think I'm about 25. Although the beard may give me up. I want to know, how did your experiences there, not in the classroom, shape you as a person and maybe help to create some of your love and interest in community empowerment and business?
Absolutely. I gotta start a little bit before I went to Syracuse University. When I was 13 years old, my mother made me volunteer one summer at the Baltimore City Department of Social Services. And I can't even explain to you the impact that experience had on my life, but it gave me I had to stay involved in community service. So when I got to Syracuse, I found an opportunity at the Southwest Community Center and the Bishop Forey Foundation. So I started going down to the Bishop Forey Foundation twice a week and just connecting with the kids and people who were not a part of the campus environment, because the campus was a whole different world than the rest of Syracuse, New York. And I love connecting with people, learning about other people and being reminded of the fact that we're not as different as people try to make it out to be. But that, I think that is really that experience with the Baltimore City Department of Social Services, and then having that regular routine of going into the city of Syracuse and interacting with folks and talking to these kids and really gaining as much from them as I believe I was able to contribute to them. It just gave me a love and a passion for ensuring that the community's needs were met and trying to figure out how I could make an impact and continue to be a part of that. On the business side, I was an economics major. So on the campus, I was involved in activities and clubs and things where we talked about business on a regular basis. But I believe through my major and through those influences, I learned to marry the community empowerment piece with business. And I learned that they don't have to be separate. They don't have to be exclusive of one another. And I think that's how I kind of fell into human resources and community and real estate development through that process. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense, my sister. Perfect sense. Now, I guess as an add-on to that, and this isn't a question that I'm coming up with on the spot. Okay. As an add-on to that, what are some of the extracurricular things you do? I know you were with SAS. Were you with other organizations, the friendships? Could you give people a sense of that it's a lot more than you just going to get a degree?
Absolutely.
Some of the other things, yeah.
Yes. You know what? The Student African American Society, like folks would have thought that we were an HBCU when I was at Syracuse University because we were so strong. We were so well connected. We were so supportive of one another. And the SAS was one of the things that honestly helped to shape me and helped me to understand my place in this predominantly white society. In addition, I was a member of BCCE, the Black Celestial Choral Ensemble.
Right. Irvin Allgood.
Yes, Irvin Allgood. Irvin was the choir director when I was there. Again, we were a family. We supported one another. We looked out for one another. I was a Kappa Diamond when I was on the yard. And to this day, I still maintain relationships with other persons who were in the Kappa Diamond Club with me, as well as Brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity. Again, I spent 2 days a week at the Bishop Forey Foundation, which was a major influence in my life. And even now, I still keep in contact with the then director of Bishop Forey, Larry King, and his wife. And whenever I'm back in Syracuse, I try to make sure that I visit them and spend time with them. When I came to Syracuse, I started out as an engineering major, and I was a member of NSBE, the National Society of Black Engineers. Yeah. And again, I have maintained relationships with people that I met through NSBE. If I missed any, I sorry, attribute it to my age.
Sister.
But yeah, all of
snapshot.
Those things really helped to shape me and helped me to understand again my place in this larger society.
Okay, now, because those watching, like, I know you wasn't just up there studying and doing business and doing community service. What did you do for fun when you were on campus?
Listen, I can tell people this story now. I had so much fun that Syracuse University, after my freshman year, said, why don't you go home for a semester and remember why you're here? So I came in and I was away from home for the first time. It was awesome. I partied. I did all kinds of stuff. I left Syracuse for a semester. When I came back, totally different mindset. And I carried 19 credits a semester. I sang in the choir. I did community service. Fridays and Saturday evenings, I was in I think I started out as the Milky Way, and then it switched to another name.
Underground.
But it was, yes, the Underground. I truly believe I had a well-rounded experience at Syracuse University, and I don't have any regrets. I just wish I knew then what I know now, and I could have been able to balance it a little bit better. But that experience shaped me, so I would not change it for anything in the world, but I had a great experience.
Sister Phaedra, I'm over here about to fall out my chair. When you said that one semester, I was in that SAS office freshman, that first semester, all day, every day. And I was like, oh, that's right, I got classes.
Yes, I forgot about that.
They sent me a letter like, my brother, this is your GPA. If it don't get to here by next semester, you out. And
exactly.
I was like, hell no. So those stories are important, Sister Phaedra. Those watching who have kids that want to go to college or in college, or if you're a young person in college or an older person in college,
yes,
do understand that most of us, you see us now and you give accolades for A, B, and C, but we were young.
Yes.
And we didn't have all that freedom, right? We didn't have mom waking us up. Oh, you got to go to class. We had to get up and go to class.
Absolutely.
If you missed the dining hall, you didn't eat.
You didn't eat. And I'm from Baltimore, where the threat of snow shut the city down. When I saw that first snowflake fall in Syracuse, I was like, oh, we good. No, you're not. Nope. I was there for 5 years and the campus never shut down for weather. I was like, what is going on? But you adjust. You learn to just keep moving.
Yeah, and we make mistakes. So the point is, you're talking to two people right now who have a very similar experience that first semester.
Yes.
Right, family. Yes. Just because you make a mistake don't mean it got to be over. You can still come back.
Yep.
Sister just told you she went home for a semester, came back.
Yes.
See? Yes. So that's important. Thank you for that, Sister Phaedra.
You're welcome.
Now, let's get into your business, your company, Seriously Positive LLC. Yes. And from what I'm understanding, it's not just a business, it's almost like a movement. I want to know tell us about it. Tell us what inspired you to start it. And how does this concept of positivity play a role in your business philosophy?
Thank you. So I actually started Seriously Positive in 2014. I have a son. He will be 21 years old on Tuesday. And I got into this when he was probably about 7 years old, and we were in the mall, and I saw a gentleman who was wearing a T-shirt that I thought the message on the T-shirt was not really appropriate for the public, and he had small kids with him, and I noticed it. Let's leave it there. But when we left the mall, I had my son with me, and I also had a younger cousin who was 2 years older than my son. So she was about 8. And I pulled the two of them together and I said, hey, let's start to put positive messages on apparel. I said, and it would be positive messages for girls And the girl said to me, my cousin said, well, what about the boys? They need the messages too. And I was like, you're absolutely right. So we sat down and we came up with these slogans, and they had a cadence to them: seriously, ... and then a positive message. So we came up with 5 slogans, and they were: seriously loving who I am, seriously putting God first, seriously respecting myself and others, seriously focusing on my future, and seriously making my family proud. And they have become the 5 guiding principles of Seriously Positive, for me, and to a certain extent them too. They still get involved a little bit, but with those 5 slogans, the goal is to really help people to understand who they are, whose they are, and what they're worth. We're really striving to help people to understand that we all come from the same source, a divine source. And as a result of that, there is a love and respect that we should hold for ourselves, but also understanding everybody is from that same source. So we all have that same connection, and the same love and respect that we give to ourselves, we have to extend that love and respect to others as well. When it comes to the making my family proud, it's not about your biological family. It's about the universal family. Again, we're all one, come from the same source, and we all have the love and respect for ourselves and each other. With regards to the real estate investment, and it's not just about redoing dilapidated properties. The focus is really on community engagement and ensuring that people within communities that have been harmed in the past, those distressed communities, rebuilding those communities so that people can have that sense of pride about themselves and understand that they are worthy of the same amenities, the same beautiful buildings, the same flowers and trees that other neighborhoods have been afforded over the years. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I'm listening to you, Sister Phaedra, and it's some of what you're saying is reminding me of my lovely queen, who's actually physically very close to me. She's participating in the chat. She's throwing different comments in.
Okay.
Who has a nonprofit, Sweet Transitions, and she does her interests are kind of in working with, I want to say, displaced communities.
Okay.
People who are victims of domestic violence or came out of prison or homelessness, and they are getting a place to stay. She's trying to show that you don't have to, just because you don't have $1 million doesn't mean you have to live in a place that's I think you used the word blight.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Substandard. Yes.
Yes. So,
yep.
So yeah, that resonates with me, what you're saying. Now, oh, and I want to say this is off the record too for this the questions. I also like to let people know that Syracuse University was the college I attended, but it didn't make me. That I was somebody before Syracuse University. I would have been somebody if there was no Syracuse University. Could you tell us who are some of the critical people in your life? The critical institutions that helped to shape Sister Phaedra before she even got to Syracuse University.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I am, I feel so fortunate because I have an older family. My mother is the youngest of 14, and I knew my great grandmother, who was born in the 1800s. My great grandmother, very quiet, didn't deal with a lot of technology. She wouldn't even talk on the telephone because she thought the devil was in it. But all right, but always had a quiet, very profound statement to make. And I was very close to her. I listened to her intently, even at a very young age. I still remember her. And she passed away when I was about 6 or 7 years old. My grandmother was born in 1903 and died in Baltimore in 2003. She would have been 100 that year, but she lived in East Baltimore her entire life. And again, I remember statements that she made, and some honestly were supportive statements, and some were challenging statements where she would say to me, girls don't do certain things. Girls don't have careers like that. When I decided to become an engineering major, that's not for girls. You need to do something else. So even those kinds of statements motivated me to prove to her I can do whatever I choose to do. So I'm thankful for the support, and I'm thankful for the challenges from her. I have an aunt, my mom's oldest sister, and for as long as I can remember, my aunt owned her own business. She was a cosmetologist. She had her own hair salon, and never seeing my aunt work for somebody else was inspiring to me. And it's something that I always had, this entrepreneurial spirit, and I always had my side hustle. And then when I was able to leave corporate America and do my own thing, that was a proud moment for me. I have an uncle, or had an uncle, who was actually married to one of my aunts, who always supportive, again, owned businesses in Baltimore City, always supported me, helped to fuel that entrepreneurial spirit. So I've always had people around me who helped to lift me, and I've had people to challenge me. So I am very appreciative. I got all the people out there that everybody knows that you look at and you say, oh, that's an inspiring individual. But I feel grateful that I also had those people who were very personal to me, and I had access to, who did the same things for me.
That is an excellent testimony. Those of you watching, remember, you don't have to be in history books to be important to somebody.
That's right.
That's very important. Very important.
Absolutely.
Now, so we know that you come out of Baltimore. That's your hometown.
Yes, born and raised.
And you've been instrumental, I guess, in providing affordable housing. And I believe, if I'm correct, that you started with your actual community. Is that correct?
I started with the community that I grew up in. And going back, honestly, driving through that community and seeing the blight in that community is what inspired me to start to do work there, because I remember a place that was very different. I remember a place with middle-class Black families because of the manufacturing jobs that were available in Baltimore City at one time, through Bethlehem Steel, through General Motors, the waterfront. And when those started to leave, you saw the deterioration of the community, not to mention the intentional pumping of drugs into that community, that constant deterioration. And it just looked very different than what I remember growing up in. I was able to go back there, start to do some work there. I'm continuing the work, and you see the change occurring gradually, but you see the change occurring, and I'm proud to be a part of that.
Yeah, I saw. I was a fan of a TV show called The Wire.
Yes.
Back in the day.
Yes.
And I mean, I was a teacher. I'd be in class, and we'd be at our breaks. Teachers would talk. Did you see what Stringer Bell said? And we'd be all into it. But I also know, being from Harlem and not being from Baltimore, that we probably got a lot of myths and misconceptions of Baltimore.
Absolutely.
Or a very kind of narrow view of what Baltimore is. Could you fill us in on what the beauty of Baltimore, besides what we saw in The Wire, for those who don't know?
Absolutely. The people of Baltimore City are proud people, compassionate people. And again, Baltimore it's a blue collar town. We've always been, the jobs that the General Motors on the line building the cars. We have Bethlehem Steel in the furnace. Those kinds of jobs. Hardworking individuals. I am a product of Baltimore City Public Schools. We had an awesome school system at one time, and not that integration was all bad, but when I grew up, my teachers lived in my neighborhood. They knew my family. I didn't have to get on a bus and go across town to go to school. I walked up the street and across a major street, and I was at my school. So we have always had communities that were close knit. We stuck together. We were respectful of one another, and you still have pockets of that today. And I believe we are really starting to rebuild that sense of community within the city. When you drive through Baltimore, you may assume that, oh my God, people don't care about the neighborhoods they live in, but it is absolutely false. You have people in every nook and cranny of the city that has a true love and respect for the city. They are working hard to make the change. It's not just at the government level. You have grassroots people who are working tirelessly to shift the narrative for Baltimore City.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now I saw before I get to this question, I saw a clip of you. You won some type of grant for a sizable amount of money, something called, you had to pitch, you had to make a pitch for your business. And I saw a clip of you breaking down, what you were trying to do. And eventually you won. Could you tell us a little bit about that before I ask you the next question?
Sure, absolutely. So I was actually a member of the Real Estate Development Fellows Program at the University of Baltimore. I did my MBA at University of Baltimore, and I'm also on the foundation board for UB. But as a part of that cohort, our final project was to pitch, kind of like Shark Tank. We had to pitch an idea for development in the city. And I had already rehabilitated a property in East Baltimore, and there were multiple vacants on the block. So my pitch was to rehab the remaining vacants on the block. And I won the pitch competition, and a part of the prize for that pitch competition, I got $30,000 from the University of Baltimore, as well as $1 million line of credit from Baltimore Community Lending, which is a nonprofit organization here in Baltimore. Okay. So I'm able to use those funds to continue with my efforts in East Baltimore.
Wow. That made me want to ask you, can I borrow 20? I'm playing. All right. Now, that is really something. So you have $1 million line of credit.
Yes.
And the grant was for how much?
So it was a $30,000 grant, and then the $1 million line of credit. Yeah. Now, wow. I have to let you know, since that time, you mentioned that I went back to corporate America. I was able to move into an organization that also does development work, community and real estate development work in the same footprint where I was working. So they asked me to come on board. So I have accepted a position with them. And as a result, I was able to get them to join forces. So I can use those funds now to do other work, because they have agreed to provide the funding for the remainder of the block where I started.
Wow, you making moves, my sister. Did you think when you was going to them parties in the Milky Way and the underground and dance to the house music and the go-go and all that you'd be doing all of this stuff?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. And it's if I can tell you a quick story. I was actually up in Syracuse last September for CBT, and there was a developers meeting for the neighborhood where I started doing work, and I took some time from CBT to join that call virtually. And all of the other developers for the community were in a room, and I was they allowed me to Zoom in. And after that meeting, I got a call from a gentleman who works for the company that I'm now working for. And the company is called Rebuild Metro. If you want to check them out, their website is rebuildmetro.com. But he reached out to me and he said, hey, I work for Rebuild Metro. Would you be willing to have lunch with me or coffee? And I said, sure. And my thought was, oh, okay, he just wants to talk to me about, the work that we're all doing. And I met with him and I told him about some of the challenges that I was having with acquisition of the additional properties. And he's an attorney, so he gave me some language to use in communicating with Baltimore City. And I thanked him and I said, well, I don't know if I could help you, but what can I help you with? And he said, well, that's why I wanted to talk to you. We were wondering if you would be willing to come and work for us. And I was like, man, I ain't looking for no job. And I walked away. He called about a week later and he said, did you think about what we discussed? And I said, were you serious? He said, yes, I was serious. So we had some more conversation. We were able to come up with a job description and narrow down an actual start date. I was doing some stuff for some other people and I said, I can't leave them in a lurch. So we worked out a time frame. And I joined them about a month ago. But I say all that to say, in September, this was not my thought. But you never know, like, what the universe has for you and on the horizon. I firmly believe when you're out there and you're doing what you're passionate about, you're doing what you love, and you're making a positive difference, all kinds of things will start to present themselves, and resources will simply fall out of what we may believe are nowhere, but they are definitely coming from somewhere. So if you have something you're passionate about, stay on the path, and the things that you need will be provided to you.
That's right. That's right. Well said, my sister. Now, I just got to bring in this sister Cecily Cooper, man. Sister Cecily in the building. What's up, my sister? It's been a long time. A fellow Taurian. She's a fellow bull in the building. She says this has been a super informative and inspiring conversation between two of her favorite fellow Syracuse University alums. Thank you for the love, Sister Cecily.
Yes, thank you.
We got to have you on, Sister Cecily. You're doing some beautiful empowerment work. We got to have you on as part of this series. Thank you for that. This is really inspiring. Now, a lot of this is off of the course of the questions I had for you.
Okay.
I have to ask you, because you mentioned it. I have been on a spiritual path my whole life and didn't even know it.
Yes.
Didn't even know it. You were in the Black Celestial Choral Ensemble. For those who don't know, it was like a Black gospel choir
on Syracuse's campus. Yes.
I think it was started by a good brother who unfortunately died relatively young. A brother named Irvin Allgood. Good brother. Meant well for our people. Was always pushing, trying to get people work, and good brother.
Yes, absolutely. And don't forget Soretta McKnight. She was also a founder of
Soretta McKnight. I don't know if I knew Soretta.
Okay. Yep. Another founder of BCCE.
See, I learned something new. Okay. Thank you for that. Now, I'm curious to know, you've mentioned God in passing and spirituality in passing.
Yes.
What role has spirituality played in your life, in your business, in your success?
It's interesting that you say, you've been on a path your whole life and didn't even know it. And I think that is the experience for most of us. I'm going to talk about myself because I don't want anybody thinking that I am criticizing or judging. So I'll talk about me. Growing up, I was in a religious family, and I didn't understand the difference between religion, which is man-made, and spirituality, which is relationship, in my opinion, until later in life. I firmly believe that the Christ consciousness is available to me. And once I learned to tap into that, my understanding of God as my source, understanding that God has a desire to bestow upon me everything that God has, which is everything. In my opinion, God is all. And when I learned to accept God as my source, maintain that relationship with God, I came to a point in life where I did not have to struggle or toil for anything. literally, when I am considering something, it is so amazing to me that the stuff that I am desiring, even if it's unconsciously, that stuff just starts to appear around me, and the resources that I need to do the things that I want to do, they just show up. They just show up. So I personally try to ensure that I don't break that connection, because I believe I'm the only one who can break that connection. My goal in life, and the Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all things, not some things, not a few things, all things will be added unto you. So my plight in life is to continually seek first the kingdom of God and maintain that connection.
All right. All right, y'all. Y'all getting a lot more than what you thought you was going to get. You thought you was just going to get real estate or college life. You're getting a really full menu here. And so I'm really grateful. I want to now get into, this is very close to my heart. We were fighting. We didn't have the luxury of other students who could just come to Syracuse, go to school, go to class, work, go to the mall, and graduate. We actually had to go to school, work, fight, protest, right? We had to do a lot.
Yes.
And so to see that you have actually become a philanthropist and that you have donated money, I know it was the Euclid building, is a Euclid house that I think is supposed to be kind of a house for Black students, kind of.
Yes.
Could you tell us about that? What led you to do that, and what you hope your contributions, how it will impact future generations of students?
Absolutely, absolutely. So there is a house on campus, 119 Euclid, and there were multiple people actually who donated for the renovation of that building to create a space not only for African American students, but primarily for African American students to gather on campus. There are rooms there where they can tap into technology. There are quiet places. There's a full kitchen. There are some students who aren't able to go home for holidays, so there's a kitchen there where they can prepare meals and share meals together. And when I was approached about being a contributor to that, it wasn't even a second thought for me, to be honest with you. When we were on campus, we didn't have those kinds of spaces. Other people had those kinds of spaces, and being able to contribute to something where students who look like me could come together safely and gather and talk and just be free, that was amazing. Also, I never, like, when you talk about never knowing or feeling like, having my name on a room at Syracuse University, it is not even something that was a fleeting thought in my mind. But having the names of African American donors on that building, because they just dedicated the building, and it's now called the Barnes McDuffie Building, for the donor. But having the names of African American donors, former students, people who are associated with the university, hopefully it will ensure that not only do the folks who come behind us have that space, but also a lesson to them that you've got to give, you gotta pay it forward. Because I gained so much from being at Syracuse University. The lessons learned, the relationships that I still have, I want to make sure that my impact and my legacy continues there. When I was there, we had the Shine Center. We had the names of all kinds of people on buildings, but those names didn't match the names we were familiar with. And we knew that the people didn't look like us. So having the ability to, again, just let the students there now and beyond know, look, there are people who were here before you, created a footprint for you, did things so that you could have a lighter load while you're here. And don't forget that you have that responsibility as well as you are moving through this space.
You better tell them, Sister Phaedra. You better tell them. Remind them. That's right. We stand on the shoulders of others,
That's
even we as students. Stood on
absolutely,
the shoulders of.
absolutely.
I think of I got to meet the founding generation students that created SAS and the Black Voice and all these things, and it's amazing. When I went last at the Coming Back Together, they were up in age naturally, and hearing their stories and what they went through, and the athletes couldn't even live on campus. Can y'all imagine? You go to a university, you play for the football, basketball, track team, you bringing in billions of dollars, and they couldn't even live on campus.
Absolutely. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Absolutely. It's
so
insane.
Yeah, that's what's up, Sister Phaedra. Now let me see where we are. I wanted to ask you now, as we kind of come more to a close, at this phase in our lives, and I'm sure we both got at least another 80 years left. I don't know about you, sister. I got another 80, 90. I'm joking, but we're thinking now about legacy.
Yes.
We want to leave something greater than ourselves that outlives us.
Yes.
And I'm curious to know, when you think about the long-term impact of your work, and you've done a lot. So whether it's the business, the corporate, the real estate, the philanthropy, what is the core message or the core legacy that you hope to leave?
I'm glad you asked that question. So there's a song, and the song is by Kindred the Family Soul. I don't know who the writer is, but I reached out to a couple of people to see if I could get permission to use this song as my theme song. But the song is called I think it's called All My People, and it says, I want all my people around me, everybody doing good, everybody feeling good, everybody good. And they talk about just the amenities that are available to their people. Now I know who my people are. I don't I want to be able to look back and say I had a hand in, again, helping people to shift their mentality, helping them to understand who they are, whose they are, what they're worth. I believe giving to people is very important, but at the same time, if I am able to help people to truly shift their mentality, then I believe I am doing something that is lasting, something that is beneficial, something that is helping people to truly treat themselves differently, treat others differently, and to have a more permanent and sustaining impact on society. Does that make sense?
Well said, my sister. Well said. Well spoken. This has really been powerful, and I hope people are getting part of what we're trying to message here, that we are deluxe, incredibly complex individuals that bring a whole lot more than what you see on the surface.
Yes.
I could get deeply spiritual and say that we're really spirits and light beings that are occupying a costume called a body, but I'm not going to go there yet. That's going to be another show. But I see here that Sister Cecily is shouting out, the Scotsman says hello to us. Is that Brother Donnie Fletcher, Sister Cecily? She says Donnie.
Yes.
That's my man Fletch.
Hey, Donnie.
Brooklyn in the house. What's up, good brother? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Now I think there's a few more comments. Oh, my lovely queen says she loves that song. We actually love that group you're talking about. Yeah, she loves that particular song. And Sister Cecily is bearing witness. She said, yes, we're a whole lot more than what you see. This ain't nothing. Our bodies, families, like this sweater I got on.
Yes.
This is just containing a spirit that is eternal and infinite and one with the divine. Not separate, but one.
Absolutely.
That's what we were not taught. That's another story. I'm not going to get too deep. You get me amped up. All right. Cecily says, go there. Cecily, we bring you on. We'll go there. We'll do a spiritual show, strictly spiritual show. All right. Now I just want to know, a lot of people watch. You know what, Sister Phaedra, we only have about 4,600 subscribers.
Okay.
But in any given week, the analytics I get say that anywhere from 35,000 to 150,000 people watch the show, right? So it means we're reaching a sizable audience. And I know a lot of people are going to be watching this. So this question is very important.
Okay.
And that is this. For those watching, Black girls, Black boys, whoever, gender, race, whatever, and they say, you know what? That sounds exciting and interesting what this sister's talking about. And I have this skill or this talent and whatever, but I don't really know where to start. I don't have nobody pushing me and nudging me and helping me. What's a practical first step they can take right now to begin to make meaningful change in their unique way? What would you suggest?
I would suggest, as a first step, there are a lot of organizations out there that are doing all different types of work. I would say start by doing a search of organizations in your community and find that one whose mission matches your passion and your mission in life. I love the idea of building quality homes for people. So I just recently, I've been giving, let me not say recent, I've been giving to Habitat for Humanity for a number of years. But I have just recently started getting involved in the actual builds. I went out on a build last weekend, as a matter of fact. The Baltimore Urban League is another organization that is committed to the type of work that I am interested in and things that are passionate for me. So I would say if you don't have anything you're currently connected to, connect with an organization whose mission is equivalent to your passion and mission. Get involved in that organization. Take advantage of any opportunities to meet more people, to find out more of what is occurring within your community or even other communities. But really just connect with some people who have similar ideas and similar things that are going on that you can get involved in. And I would say that is a place that I would suggest starting.
That's excellent. And I guess before we close, are there any, well, first of all, anyone that's watching this, is there any, maybe take a question? Is there any question that you'd like to raise with Sister Phaedra while we're here in this space? Because, you know, once we finish, it will be recorded, it will be available, but you won't be able to not necessarily interface with her directly. So if you have a question right now that you want to ask, I'm going to give you a few minutes to think about it. While you think about that, Sister Phaedra, I want to know, are there any last words? Is there anything I didn't ask you, but it's on your heart and your mind to say while you're in this space?
You know, the only thing I would really like to again impress upon people is the fact that we have access to everything we need, like everything. There was a point in time where I started to question whether or not I was too old to leave corporate America and do the things that I really wanted to do. And honestly, through meditation, I got the word, you ain't too old for nothing. And
right.
You know, any other and not to disrespect anybody else, but other sisters who are on this call, like we could be 50 and look like we 18. So don't ever think that your time has passed or it's too late to get involved in things that you are really passionate about. Step out on faith, take that leap, do the things that you really feel in your heart and in your gut, that these are things that I want to get involved in, and understand that, again, that stuff is not there coincidentally. It is there because there are things that you may be destined to do, but you've got to trust, you've got to have faith, understand that whatever you need in order to get those things done, to move in those directions, they'll be there for you. Just be patient, continue to have that faith, and the world is available to you. Don't ever feel like you're in a stagnant place and you don't have another direction to go in.
That's right. That's right. Now, another SU alum, my fellow Taurus sister, we gonna have you on, sister. I see you. I see where you're going with it. I see the energy you putting forth, and we're gonna make sure we have you on. Now, she asked, her question is, she's so silly. My queen is over here. All right. Anyway, she says, what's next for you both? She wants to know, I'm trying to bring it up. Everything's moving so fast. She wants to know what are we both trying to do next? What's our next move, I guess, in the future? Would you like to start that? I'll end it real quick, but yes.
Listen, let me just say, Cecily always trying to make me go do some more stuff. Cecily, I'm tired. I need to go to sleep. I love Cecily because she is so energetic. She is so supportive. That's my boo. I love you. Honestly, I am enjoying the things that I'm doing. The position that I just took, it's giving me an opportunity to really network with some folks, to get involved in some things that I may not have been able to get involved in on my own. But right now, I want to continue to get involved with various communities and really help those communities to figure out how to tap into the resources that are available to them in order to provide what's needed for those communities. I love children. And I think that if we can instill certain things at an earlier age, then the outcomes will be different. I feel fortunate in that when I was growing up, I had entire communities behind me. The school was a part of the community. And it's like everything I needed was right there. And everybody seemed to be pushing to ensure that I was filled with good morals, good values, all of that kind of stuff. I want to bring some of that back. I want to make sure that kids know the value that they have inside of them, and they don't have to fall victim to all of the crazy stuff that's out here. I want them to be confident. I want them to know that it's okay to say no when something doesn't feel right to them. So I'm working on it's a seminar for children based on those 5 guiding principles of Seriously Positive, and I'm hoping to be able to roll that out before the end of the year.
Very nice, Sister Phaedra. To the extent that you can, keep us abreast of that. Maybe we can help promote it or whatever in the future. Definitely.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that.
No doubt. And to answer your question, Sister Cecily, I know that I was put here specifically to help Black people. So when I changed my names in 1990 from Quentin Stith to Ajay Ajamu Taimba, that means, notice, messenger from God. He fights for what he wants, and we stand as a nation. I've always been about that work, even when I didn't know it. It's just that now I'm adding a more spiritual component to the politics. What I would like to do immediately, Sister Cecily, I'm looking at what's going on in Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, where these people are now controlling their territory, opening banks. And I would like to make several trips to West Africa. I'd like to have property in Africa. And I like to be almost a statesman, if you will, going back and forth, kind of like Malcolm X was trying to do in the last year of his life, getting resources for African Americans here and kind of creating a pipeline so that we would have power wherever we are in the world. And then I want to do a rites of passage program and write a few more books. That's basically it. Listen, Sister Phaedra, we thank you. We applaud you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. Donnie put a comment here that he's very proud.
Thank you, Donnie.
Says
I just wanted to quickly mention, I didn't realize the other chat was going on, and I flipped over there real quickly. Adrian James is in the chat, and that is actually my cousin. She's here in Baltimore.
Oh, nice. Yeah, she said you talking to her. This was very inspiring. Thank you, Phaedra Stewart. And that's what we do. That's what we do. Our people, I'm not knocking nobody else, family. Yeah. Our people, man, I really believe were put here to show the world how it's supposed to be done. That's why Africa, humanity started there. It's the richest continent. That's not accidental. That's spiritual, and it has spiritual applications. I believe that when you see us and you think you say, oh, that person's an athlete, study their background. They got about 10 talents. That's just the one that they popped in. Mm-hmm. And we're all like that. We're all like that. Sister Cola, we about to have on. She sings. She was a director of the Black Artists League. She was a teacher. I mean, that's how we all are. And it's about kind of what you said, locating what's your main piece, your main thing you do, and then maybe mastering that and branching off, as you have done very well, very successfully. So anyway,
thank you.
We thank you again for your time. My sister, if you need to take that nap, Cecily said, go ahead and take the nap. She said, stop complaining. She said, go take the nap. So my sister, thank you for the time. We also want to thank your husband, your children, your support team, because we know it takes a team. And keep up the good work and keep us updated. Don't be a stranger. If there's a way that we can help, let us know. All right.
Definitely. And I would love to connect with your wife at some point in time, because it sounds like we're kindred spirits.
Yes, indeed. And she would love that. She is very, oh man, she's really something. Sociable, can fix it. Listen, I'm a man, I'm a masculine man. I ain't afraid to say I can't fix a damn thing. I can fix problems in life. I can fix organizationally and all that, ideas and that. But in terms of, she's the Black MacGyver. I tease her. Remember MacGyver?
Yes, I do.
You can take a matchstick and a piece of bubble gum and fix the whole house. It's amazing. I think you two would be great. But yeah, so just want to thank everybody for watching. Please subscribe. 85 of the people who come through watch, but they don't subscribe. So please subscribe to the channel, family. It helps us to reach more people. We appreciate it. Sister Cecily, we're going to have you on. Please accept my friend request on Facebook so we can be in touch, all right? So I can have you on as well. And if anyone watching has any ideas or people you'd like to see on, let us know. Harlem L School at gmail.com. Harlem L School at gmail.com. With that said, family, thank you, Sister Phaedra.
Thank you.
Peace
thank you.
And Black Power, family. No matter what happens, what other people do, no matter who the daggone president is, if we know who we are and whose we are, as you said earlier, and we connected to that, work together, we will win. And we got to believe that. Peace and Black Power, family. Thank you.